Welcome to Derby City Wrestling here on the Louisville Network. Timmy Baltimore alongside the legendary Kenny Starmaker Bolin and an overseas legend, Twinkle Toes. In our main event tonight, this one huge, the Mobile Homers, and we don't know which two of the three are going to be taking on JTG and a mystery partner. I have a feeling I know who it is.
It doesn't matter who the partner is. All I know is the Mobile Homers are going to show them who's boss tonight.
And of course, JTG was left laying last week, so we're going to see if he can get a little retribution. Speaking of retribution, big handicap match already signed, and Anthony Bravado asked for it. It's Bravado taking on Raul and Rudy of Los Locos. He asked for the match, Kenny.
He asked for the match, and there might be just a little bit of a surprise later on for that match. Stay tuned.
This may be an unfortunate news for some of our viewers, but Ben Hameen, the Charge, the leader of the insurgency, going to have a word out here. He says he's celebrating the Islamic New Year, and he's going to be kicking it off here tonight with a requested interview time, some words in the center of that ring. Also, we got six-man tag team action. The Army of Two and Karn Alexander taking on the extremely gifted ones, Ego. Of course, I'm talking about Vance Desmond and JD Santos and Damian Adams. That one going to be a wrestling classic, I can guarantee you that. Huge main event, JTG mystery partner and the Mobile Homers. But right now, the professor of professional wrestling making his way to the ring. And he's brought some serious back with him.
That's Gavin Garrison, the professor. Oh, the most intellectual man in wrestling today next to me.
He's got my favorite wrestler with him, too. Let's do some introductions here, Baltimore.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, accompanied to the ring by Von Lilas, he is the professor of professional wrestling, Gavin Garrison.
I don't think I've seen anyone look more confident than the professor looks tonight. And when you got backup like Von Lilas, you know it's going to be a great night.
Well, Von Lilas is going to be in the corner of Gavin Garrison, but tonight the opponent of Gavin going to have a little backup of his own.
Who is it? Whoa.
The very charismatic Brooklyn native BKNY, and he's brought his boy Electrico with him, just in case the odds need to be even.
BKNY is looking good tonight as well.
Their opponent, accompanied to the ring by Electrico, BKNY.
One-on-one matchup, BKNY, Gavin Garrison. Of course, Lilas in the corner of Garrison, and Electrico in the corner of BKNY.
Yeah, I don't think Lilas was particularly planning on Electrico coming out here being in the corner. Looks like he's not particularly happy with it, but he's going to have to deal with it.
As we're seeing our referee getting the corner man outside of the ring. And it looks like BKNY maybe having some sort of shoulder injury there as he's got that protective brace on.
Something going on there. I don't know if that's medically induced or what that is, but.
And the professor will tell you that's not a very sensible thing to do. You're marking out, you've got a weak spot on your body, and I bet Gavin Garrison's going to go straight for that shoulder.
Well, if he's smart, he certainly will try to, as it is pretty much a bullseye on the right shoulder of BKNY, but BKNY with the early advantage.
BKNY is not the thickest man that was ever put together. He's a high flyer, got some fantastic moves, but from what I've seen early in his career, he has been somewhat injury prone, and now he's got the injured shoulder, and there the wrestlers are that are taking him on. They're going to know about it, and they'd be idiots not to try and make a play for it.
When you're doing 450 splashes through the air, you're going to get injured.
There's a price to pay for high risk. You're absolutely right, Twink.
You don't see me doing that silly sort of thing.
Can you speak of your experience on 450 splashes, Twinkle Toes?
Can you see any bad shoulders on me?
I would assume you've done none then. Thank you.
And now BKNY using the leverage to get out of that arm bar. And now vying for that wrist control. And Gavin Garrison has to know if he doesn't move with the pressure, that wrist could snap. But a handful of tights brings BK back to the near corner.
Now what Gavin Garrison's doing here, he told me he was going to use this strategy. He's luring him into a false sense of security, and it's working perfectly.
You got a lot of faith in Gavin Garrison, as evidently Von Lilas does as well. But he has yet to really earn his stripes. I'll give you this. Gavin Garrison has been coming into his own in recent weeks, but he's got a long way to go before he lives up to the reputation he's placing out before himself.
Who do you think would work cheaper, Twinkle Toes or the Geico Lizard? Because I don't think we would notice the difference if we put one behind the microphone or the other.
You get quality like this from a Lizard.
Geico Lizard's all booked up, I think. Gavin looking
you
to
actually like him.
Looking to scout BKNY, no luck there. Quick arm drag by BKNY. And man, BKNY is the embodiment of what Derby City Wrestling is all about. The home of the hungry. The man's out here competing, injured, and he's done so before.
He is. He's giving it a full-blown go. Look out!
Oh,
I thought he was going for something idiotic, and he is!
Oh!
Holy
Hey,
mackerel.
just landed on me then. Inches.
He's an idiot. I'll say it now, he's an idiot.
Inches.
Good Lord.
Inches from our
A sane
announce
man.
desk.
A sane man does not do maneuvers like that with an injured shoulder.
Even I almost
But he
had an
just did it
injured
anyway.
shoulder then.
Well, he did it, and it paid off, Kenny. You can't argue
Well,
that.
yeah, you got me there, I guess.
You go for broke, you either win big or lose big.
And right on the bad shoulder.
And a cover now.
Could be. 2. I thought he might have had him.
2 count.
I mean, he went for broke, but let's face it, he wasn't going to get a pin out here in the floor anyway. He might have slowed him up, but now you got to get him back in the ring to where you can pin him. I just disagree with that maneuver at this point in the match.
I'm all jittery after all that excitement.
And that's where it pays off to have a young veteran like Von Lilas
I'm
in your
not
corner.
bad-mouthing him. I'm not getting on him. I'm just trying to give him managerial strategy here. If I were his manager, I would not allow him to do that there at that point of the match. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Von Lilas offered the distraction and paid off in dividends and allowing Gavin Garrison to get on the up. And now Gavin Garrison trying to bend the body of BKNY. Hook of the leg.
I didn't mind him faking that maneuver and making the professor think, hey, he could go for this at any time. But now the professor knows for a flat fact
That's your
something
advice.
wicked could come anytime.
That's your advice, is it, Kenny, to all the people you've helped fake it till you make it?
Well, it seemed to work for your mother.
And Gavin Garrison putting on the brakes.
Oh, no! That was painful.
What a clothesline, turning the body of BKNY inside out.
Here she faked a mini before she actually had you.
Keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean. And the knee of Gavin Garrison buried into the spine of Brandon Kaplan, the Brooklyn native. Raised on the streets of Brooklyn, New York.
What did I tell you, Timmy, about Gavin Garrison working on the shoulder there? That's intelligence.
Well, Gavin Garrison, I'll say it again, and I said it earlier, coming into his own. And he's showing it right now, at least while he has the advantage, but things may have turned around with that standing enziguri by BKNY. NY catching some valuable recovery time.
Von Lilas trying to motivate the professor to get up and get back into the thick of this match. Swing and a miss.
And those left jabs, you know, BKNY, a relative of Al Bummy Davis, a middleweight prize fighter from New York, maybe taking a page out of his book. And here's some of the high impact. Look for BKNY to try to dictate the pace right here.
He needs to protect that shoulder is
Here he
what he
goes
needs
again. Oh,
to do. Oh,
this man never
took
learns
its
from his
toll.
mistakes.
That's twice he's went high risk, and twice it's come back to haunt him.
And land him right on the tailbone after that leg drop.
And like I said, he ain't got a whole lot of padding there. That takes more toll on him than your average wrestler, say, if Twinkle Toes fell off the top rope.
It's a double-edged sword.
Oh, did you hear that?
Being a high-risk wrestler.
Twinkle Toes be like landing on a pile of white cloud.
Speaking of clouds, BKNY maybe shooting for him as he's on that top rope.
I don't believe he's up there again.
Shoulder and all, 450, right on the money. And BKNY just took the professor to school.
I wouldn't have done it that way, but it worked for him.
Here is your winner, BKNY.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute.
And you knew Von Lilas, somehow, you knew Von Lilas wasn't going to take this defeat lying down.
Wasn't real happy about the results, and now he's trying to settle up for it. Sore loser that he is.
And Von Lilas like a wild-eyed.
I like him as a wrestler, but he's a hothead, and he needs to sometimes maybe take these defeats with a little bit more grace.
They don't look like winners now.
Like a
Timmy
wild-eyed
Baltimore.
man. Von Lilas is out of his mind. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we're going to get a word with Bin Hameen of the Insurgency.